Ivan Demidov continues his torrid pace in the KHL, scoring again on the insane stick lift before the tap-in. On the pass from Tony DeAngelo, he's up to 4 goals, 3 assists, 7 points in just 9 KHL games. We gotta go through everything that happened in this big SKA game, plus Jesse, we got to go into some of the Habs lines, including their power play and what is likely to be their main NHL power plays revealed. And I got to say, a lot of Habs fans are a bit riled up by who seems to get demoted to the second pairing. There's a bunch of great stuff we got to get into on this episode of Habs Digest. But guys, before we get into it, I haven't asked this in a few days. We're still on that road for 15,000 subscribers before the season. We got about a week and a half left. We have just over 400 subscribers to go. So if you're part of the 400, that's just a fraction of the amount of people watching this video. You're part of the 50% that's not subscribed. We really appreciate if you could help us out with our big time goal. Without further ado, Jesse, I want to get into the lines, and this is more like it. Now, the Habs lines in practice today were teased for the Saturday night preseason game against Toronto, and well, these lines also very likely mirror the lines we will see come the regular season, so let's just dive right into it. Now, that's barring Oliver Kapanen or Owen Beck making a great case for themselves, but Eric Engels tweeted this out. The lines: Caufield, Suzuki, Slafkovsky, Newhook, Dach line. No surprise there. Third line of Wad, Dvorak, Anderson, Gallagher, Evans, Armia. These are kind of the lines we saw at the end of training camp, Jesse, even into some preseason games. The big thing is the defense, too. Matheson and Struble, you got to assume that's going to be Guhle come regular season. Hudson and Savard, and Xhekaj and Barron. To me, Jesse, this is the opening night roster. And I am still, as much as I love Kapanen, I'm still convinced that he's going to end up in the SHL this year. We'll see, but what are your thoughts on these lines? Like, I'm pretty happy to see this. I'm really happy to see Hudson already on that second pairing, and I think there's a lot of great opportunity for some huge seasons here.
Each line kind of gives you something to love as a Habs fan. And again, we have that scoring in one shape or another on every line, which is kind of what's nice about having even on that third line to kind of spread out that love. We see that early chemistry with Anderson because I think these first 2 lines, they can produce offense. First time in a long time that we're having a solid second line like we're having. But again, I think the key for this team a lot of ways is going to be that depth scoring, is whether those third and fourth lines can come through. And I think, while getting some early chemistry with Anderson, I think it's going to help that a lot. We know Gallagher, well, you know what he's going to do on that fourth line. Armia, we know what he's capable of. But I'm really happy to start seeing the team kind of taking shape. Dvorak having a very nice line. But now's the time for the team to start getting chemistry. So an awesome call from Marty St. Louis. We've tried, okay, time for the first line, second line, guys kind of on the fence a little bit. Now we're kind of putting it all together. You don't want to wait too long. I think it's the right time to start putting this all together. Of course, there's a lot to like, a lot of youth on our defensive core, but in the best type of way right now. So really looking forward to seeing them grow. Barron, I'm impressed at how his defensive play, it's improving. He knows what he needs to do, and he's rising up to the occasion right now. So a lot to like in this young team.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of expecting, look, I didn't think Barron started out super hot, but as I've watched the games, I've become a little more confident in him. He's whiffed on a couple passes still, but, he's getting there, and I think him and Xhekaj make a lot of sense. There's 2 little things I want to mention here before we get on to the power play lines that, again, are likely going to mirror the actual regular season power plays. First of all, you mentioned depth scoring. To me, these third and fourth lines are both third lines on solid teams, right? That's the big thing to me. The Habs have kind of, over the past number of years, really embraced that kind of 4-line mentality, and I think you can really see this here, right? Depending on the given night, certain players can get hot, and these combinations work really well together. So I wanted to mention that. I don't know if I'm getting too hyped over these lines, but that depth scoring looks so much better than last year when we'd have sometimes Armia on it was just a year or 2 ago that we'd see Armia up taking reps on the first line. Same thing with Anderson. But also on defense, Jesse, the big one for me is, I know it's just a replacement for Guhle, but they could have messed these pairings around a lot. They could have put Savard with Matheson. To me, they're giving Struble a bit of a shot to prove himself because he knows he's sort of on that bubble right now, especially with Mailloux knocking on the door, especially with Reinbacher maybe coming next season, whenever it is, Adam Engstrom. Struble has looked really impressive, in my opinion, in the preseason, and I'm really happy to see him get bumped up. Keep the pairings as they will be in the regular season, but give him that first pairing time with Matheson because I think it's going to really benefit him.
Old faithful Struble. He knows how to play an NHL game, that's for sure. And I think that it's a great call also for the reason, and probably even more so of like a reason of like keeping Hudson and Savard together, making sure we're getting like a good partner for Hudson to really early on to kind of put him in a place to succeed and everything else. So yeah, this is going to be definitely big for Struble. It's a chance for him to step up. We know that Guhle's he's back in skating right now, but you know, we're big fans of Jayden Struble here on the show.
For sure. That appendix is healing nice and well. There was another appendectomy. Was it John Gibson? What is going on right now? Like, anyway, crazy stuff, but hopefully Guhle will be back very, very soon. But Jesse, we got to dive into the power plays too. And I'm seeing a lot of people a bit surprised about this. Now, I'm going to show you the first power play, and then I'll let you guys figure out, well, what's missing in your opinion. So, according to Eric Engels, the first power play today was Dach down low, Slav as the bumper, Suzuki on the left wall, Caufield on the right wall, Matheson up top. Now, first of all, I'm assuming Caufield's gonna get reps on his one-time side. I assume he's gonna play more left wall than we're seeing here. We'll see. But well, I guess it sort of depends on the perspective. But I think that means he's not on his one-time side. But regardless, Dach, Slav, Suzuki, Caufield, Matheson. Well, Jesse, if you go to the second power play, that means it's Joshua Roy, Brendan Gallagher, Patrick Laine on that left half wall. That's his one-time spot. Alex Newhook and Lane Hutson. So people are looking at this, they're saying, Laine and Hutson on the second power play? Are you crazy? Like, Laine, his best production throughout his whole career has been on the power play. What do you think about Laine being power play 2 and power play 1 featuring the guys that it is? I mean, look, I get it with Hutson. You know, you still give Matheson the benefit of the doubt, but Laine on the second power play definitely was a bit surprising to me, but I think him with Newhook, Hutson, Roy, Galley, I actually think that's kind of nasty in and of itself.
I think that we're spreading the love, and I think that the rationale behind this is to really making sure that our shooters in Caufield and Laine are each kind of getting their reps. Because if there's guys that both like to shoot and they're really not getting those opportunities, it's because somebody else is kind of taking those shots. We're not really maximizing their capability of what they can do on the ice. I absolutely do believe, Josh, that by the end of the season that Hudson and Laine will both be on PP1. There's going to be a little bit of movement there, but for me, like, Laine is so dynamic, the offensive zone. I think that your best goal scorer, pure goal scorer, it just makes sense in a lot of ways for him to have him PP1. Hudson, I think, speaks for himself of why they're going to go there. But then there's the combination of those two players together. Again, like two of your best offensive players, you want them working together on that PP1. But again, we're going to have two units the way that's structured right now, which is going to be a scoring threat, which is a huge improvement. You could say 100% improvement over our PP last year. Marty's going to be in control, but having that second wave like that, I think it's going to be absolutely unreal. And it's definitely going to be a little bit of an audition for Joshua Roy. Yes, low key to kind of establish that chemistry with Patrick Laine, because it's not written in stone. There is a time before Ivan Demidov gets here next year for Joshua Roy to get a spot maybe on that second line. Yes, that's totally possible. So that's going to be early on for them to kind of develop that chemistry. I like that because I find like Joshua Watt, he takes a good player and he makes them even better. So I think that actually puts like a player like Laine in a really great position to succeed, his playmaking, his vision and everything else. So I'm really excited to see as this kind of moves forward. And to your point earlier, Josh, of yesterday rather, where you said this competition, how it helps other players, like you have to feel like, Hudson kind of biting on the heels of Matheson. That's going to help kind of motivate him to become even better as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think that's going to be awesome. Like, and I get it too. Like, you give the veteran the benefit of the doubt. Matheson just coming off a 60-point season. Like, come on, it's fair enough to keep him on the power play. But Hudson looks absolutely magical. But the thing is too, Roy, Jesse, you're seeing Joshua Roy play power play over guys that played a decent amount of power play last year, and Josh Anderson and Yoel Armia. Like,
true.
That's a statement to me that he's taken that spot. The Habs have not shied away. Like, they've tried to get their veterans going, but they really haven't shied away from kind of benching them a bit if they need to. So we'll keep you guys updated on this, but this seems to be a real look into the season come Saturday night. But Jesse, the final thing we got to talk about, of course, is our boy, Ivan Demidov. Not over in North America yet, however. He is still playing absolutely amazing hockey over in Russia. And after, I don't even know if I want to say a slow start, but of course he had that massive 4-point night. And well, he continues a bit of a hot streak he's on as he wins a board battle. But watch the stick lift before he scores. It's subtle, it's quick, it's right there. It's really subtle and quick, but take a look at how he stick lifts before this happened. Oh, yes. And here's Demidov going to high-five his team. Watch the stick lift right there. It's quick. If you missed it, rewind, go watch again. You might be able to see it there quickly, but Tony DeAngelo making his SKA debut with a beautiful setup for Ivan Demidov, Jesse. I mean, The hockey IQ, again, is just off the charts. Pinching when he needs to on this board battle, winning the puck back to the point, the stick lift into the tap-in off an admittedly great pass. He's off to a torrid start right now. Again, 4 goals, 3 assists in 9 games. I saw a graphic comparing him to some other under 20 seasons in the KHL. He's like on that same par roughly in terms of points per game and stuff as guys like Kaprizov, as guys like Kuznetsov were at around the same age. Even guys like Michkov, right, who we saw last year as well. But Demidov on a bit of a better team, so in theory would get less ice time. But playing him with good players, who knew, Jesse? It pays off, and he has really proven himself as a top scorer in this entire league.
Just goes to show, a Mother Russia, you don't choose to be a star player. A star player chooses to be you, right? And done so more with really an old school play with the stick lift to finish. Kind of one motion there. That's got to hurt for a D-man, right? Getting the stick lift by an 18-year-old for the goal. That's got to sting. Nothing hurts more than that. But I'm a simple man, Josh. I like winning. I like that Demidov's winning the board battle here. He makes a nice play back to his defenseman. Then he's going hard to the net again with his stick on the ice, with the stick lift. Mm-hmm. Like, this is just a classic. When you have a skill guy and then you're putting in like these board battles, he starts off this play by winning that puck battle, sending it back to the D, going to that, and then he finishes it off. Like, the fact that Ivan Demidov, again, is the play starter, the fire starter again, in limited ice time of making it happen, it's just hard for me to think of, like, obviously a star player that this team needs, but then he's bringing these intangibles, which, Josh, I didn't know for sure that he would do at the KHL level, be able to do it, kind of, again, getting involved in the boards, mixing it up. Like, there's just basically all that I'm asking for a young player for him to do. I just don't see a world of how I could like this prospect even more.
Yeah, like, he's loved by his teammates. He seems to be a leader in the locker room. He's young, but his hockey IQ is leaps and bounds above even a lot of veterans. Like, I don't know, like, maybe we're selling our guy too high, but I don't think we are. I think for his age, for his skill level, he is still showing these like little things where you're like, man, you don't see half of the like veterans, good players in the NHL do these like little things. So again, are we overhyping him? No. Are we hyping him? Absolutely we are, because he deserves to be hyped. Everything he's doing is just showing us day after day, Jesse, why he was picked by Montreal 5th overall and making us more surprised why he fell. So go back, watch those highlights 15, 20 times, because just that goal enough is so special. Let us know what you think about Demidov's hot start to the season down below. But that'll do it for this episode of Habs Digest. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Don't forget, we got this crazy goal, and I still think it's possible. If all you watching right now that haven't hit the button, do it down below. I'm Josh Gosse, my co-host, Jesse Poirier. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.